Hello, my friend.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Um, Thing to you and everybody else. I have a question about the identification because in many of your videos, especially many of them, you say look into the identification.
Yeah.
And I'm really puzzled by what does it mean to, because I can identify as a woman close to 50, having children, but is it, so I have these questions. So should I look at it as it's above from the fourth floor, like to drag myself out of it and look into it, or should I look into why I'm identifying, or if and what I'm identifying with, and should I stop identifying?
Yeah.
And I don't
No,
know what to do
no,
with
I
that
yeah.
sentence.
No, yeah, I completely. You're not the first question. You're not the first one who has asked me, what do you mean with looking into? Because I do say that a lot. And I'm sorry that I haven't clarified it more. It's whenever you think that you know something, that is a delusion because you don't know anything. We only think that we know. So you only think that you are a woman close to 50 and you have a job and a home and children and all of that. All that identification, it's just a part of it. It's a little bit like we did in the beginning with you and you. If you close your eyes and you think of your hand, you have a mental picture of how your hand looks. But it's just a recognition of how your hand looks. When you actually open your eyes and you look at your hand, first you're going to see the recognition, but then suddenly you actually see what is there. And it's not a hand. There's a label we can put on it and call it a hand, but that is more descriptive of the label. It's not really describing what this is. Do you know that Magritte painting where um, it's a it's a picture of a pipe and it says, and the picture is called "This is not a pipe."
Yeah, I
It's
think I heard about it. Yeah.
a bit like that. That whatever identification we have is a limit. It's limiting what it actually is. If you think that you're only a woman, you're limiting yourself. You're so much more. You're also a mother and a daughter, and if we completely release all labels to put on it, you cannot even say that you're a human being. You're energy. You are a collection of atoms, but if we zoom in, even that collection of atoms is not even defined in a certain space. So the identification that we use to make our perceived world more safe. And what I would like for everybody to do is to really rock that boat where you think that the perceived world is as you perceive it. It's just perceived. It's not reality. It's just the way that we perceive it. If you hear my voice saying something. If you are deaf, you are probably sitting now, right now on YouTube and reading the subtitles, which means that you haven't even got an idea of what my voice sounds like. And we know that how my voice sounds like is not how my voice actually sounds, it's how your brain is perceiving the vibration of what my sound is doing, what my voice is doing to the vibration in your ear, which means that to everybody here, my voice is different. I have had meetings where people in the same meeting say that I speak too slow and too quick at the same time. So it's really looking into, when I say look into, then it's whatever you perceive as reality right now, question that. How do you know?
And then what?
See where it takes you. Follow it. So right now you perceive that you're sitting in a sofa in Denmark,
Mm.
right? If you look at that perception right now, how much of that can you actually dissolve? I mean, saying that that a country has borders and boundaries is completely arbitrary. We 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 don't. It's something we have decided. Just like time, it's something man-made that we have decided to make any kind of sense of the decay of the meat suit. That time doesn't exist. Time is not real. So is that looking into everything that you perceive as real, just like you have this idea that your thoughts are real, but they're not though. It's chemical processes. You can be given an injection of adrenaline, and all of a sudden you will perceive everything as dangerous. Or you can be given an injection of oxytocin, and all of a sudden you will feel so much love and connectedness with everybody here on the call. Both are true, and both are not true because it's dictated by your biochemistry. So whatever you perceive as real, as reality, and this is how it is, can be questioned. It can be dissolved. Whenever you feel anxious or sad, or that can be questioned and that can be dissolved.
But then I have, how do I then feel safe in the world if everything is up for grabs? Let's say I sit in a sofa now, but yeah, the sofa is on the floor and it's like 2 stories above ground, and it feels
Yeah.
like I'm sitting in nothingness.
Yes.
When I start that thought, it's like I have nothing underneath me, and I could be outside or down, or I'm I'm basically floating in air because I'm
Yes.
up, and it doesn't really feel safe. Then what?
See that was hang on, because you made a very, very quick conclusion that that is
Yeah,
not safe. And that is what you are looking into. Why is that all of a sudden not safe? What has changed? You're just suddenly becoming aware that you're sitting and floating 2 stories over the the water
yeah,
line, right?
yeah,
What is all of a sudden not safe about that? It's only a thought that is telling you that it's not safe.
yeah. But I get this buzzy feeling in the body, like, oh, but then it's not safe.
And that is what I would like for you to look into, because that is the part that needs to be met with compassion and love, because that is now you are into the how can you say, into the imprint of your cells back from way, way back
Mm,
pre-verbal, when the Sunni was created,
mm,
where you were lying on the changing table, you were getting a new diaper on, and the phone rang and your mom left and you fell down the table. That has imprinted into yourselves that life is not safe. I am not safe.
okay.
And that is what needs to be met with love. What, and can you be in a body that feels unsafe? What does it actually feel like to be unsafe? If you really, because normally when we go like, I don't feel safe, then we jump away from it into the thought, I'm not safe, I'm not going here. Just like
Yeah,
what I
yeah. I
just
would I
spoke
would
with Sophie
move, and
about.
I would do something, and I would go and
Divert,
eat
have a cigarette,
something
a
or
glass
have
of wine.
coffee or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Anything, anything, anything.
Mm,
But if you, it's just a thought. It's just a thought telling you that you're purple leprechaun. You're not. It's just a thought coming up saying that you're unsafe. You're not unsafe. Nothing has changed. It's just a thought.
mm,
If you stay with that, can you be in a body where you feel unsafe? Just breathe into it. How does it feel to be in a body where you feel unsafe? I feel a contraction in my throat. I feel constricted here. I feel a busy in my stomach. Okay, can you be in a body where you're constricted and contracted and busy, busy, busy? Just breathe into it. Well, it actually is relaxing now. Okay. So now this is how it feels to be unsafe. That will change too. It will be much more expansive. Okay, so now this is how it feels to be unsafe. It will keep expanding. It will keep changing because nothing is constant. So whatever you come into and it kind of feels like this is the end of the road, even question that. Question that. Because nothing stays the same. So when you stay with the feeling of I'm unsafe, stay with that. See where it takes you. How does it feel in the body? And feel how that too is expanding and changing and being different. Yeah, go on.
But what when other scenarios from life comes rolling in and they're not unpleasant, but other times where I have felt unsafe,
Yeah.
like sitting back on somebody's bike. I
Yes.
hate that. I hate when they're not driving well. I hate being in, these Christiania
Yeah.
cargo cycling
I
bags
do
we
that.
have in
Yeah.
Denmark. If I sit in one of those, I hate it. And
Yeah.
that is really unsafe as well.
Yeah.
Is it so what when other
That,
thoughts come in?
yeah, but the thing is that you sitting in the cargo bike, let's say that,
Mm,
you sitting in the cargo bike, or you sitting and meditating and realizing that you're on the second floor and you're floating in space, the bodily sensation of fear is the same.
yeah.
So what is happening is a bodily sensation is happening, and you have a label that's saying this is fear.
Mm,
When you detach the two, so you take the fear label, pull it off, and you just stay with the sensory experience, you would feel that change. But because you haven't done it, every time anything comes up that is similar to a constriction of breathing, immediately you go to this is fear and jump away from it. And that is what I'm inviting you back into doing, because there's something in your body that needs to be felt.
mm.
And just staying with that and just feeling whatever comes up, and you just allow it to be there. It's okay to be constricted. Can you be in a body that's constricted? Yes, I can.
So the idea is not to follow the second thought, but take the feeling from the second thought as well.
Yeah, you detach the thought of the
Yeah,
label. And
and
so
stay
when you're
with
in
it.
the cargo bike, you say, okay, this feels like fear. How do I know this is fear? If I remove the label of fear, how
Mm,
do I know what is happening? Ah, it's the same constriction of my breath. Okay. So what I'm actually feeling is a constriction of breath. Can I be in a body where I can hardly breathe? I can. Okay, I'm still here. I'm still here. Okay, I can still be here. And that means that what you now believe is fear will be dissolved and will change, which means that the label no longer applies.
And when is it that, because then I need sometimes when I have a sensation or see something in my bubble of reality and I see that it's actually myself I'm projecting this back on, and I'm sort of taking the inner part of myself to say it's okay to make mistakes, let's say something like that. is is it going to be like that, or is it skipping that part to stay with the body sensation? What comes first, staying
Um,
with the sensation, or like, and I would say reparent the inner child, or
yeah, I'm not sure I understand you correctly. And I just in a bracket want to say when we talk about reparenting the inner child, it's not so much a thought about what is happening. It's the staying with the body, what needs to be accepted and felt. So
yeah.
everything needs to go from the mind into the body so you feel. If that is what you call reparenting, then I'm all aboard.
Yeah, but reparenting more feeling like this love and acceptance for this feeling that I'm
No matter
having.
what feel yeah, no matter what feeling comes up, I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's okay.
absolutely. How can it
Yeah,
not be? It's
yeah,
here.
yeah, but
Yeah.
this is sort of okay, but does something comes before the other, or is it actually the same? Do you think so?
No, no, the sequence that things happen with is back to when we didn't connect thoughts and sensory experiences. So we're back to being a toddler, a baby. And when we're babies, we don't have the connection between thought and sensory experiences. We just have sensory experiences. And that's why it's so important just to stay with the sensory experiences. Whatever thought is attached onto it and stories we have about the thoughts and all that is just mind noise. It's just clutter. It doesn't matter. The story doesn't matter at all. What matters is a sensory experience. And that is the only thing that needs to be held and accepted and just stayed with. Not for it to go away, but just for it to be allowed to be there. And whatever attachment that we have with that, that's secondary. It's not relevant.
Okay.
But it,
Excellent. I
it
think I've heard this before, but I haven't heard it.
it's completely fine. It's completely fine. Yeah, completely fine. Um, the day when we were getting married, I all of a sudden got really, really dizzy and nauseated and all of that. And I was lying in here and just breathing into it. And it was clearly that I had butterflies in my stomach and all of that. And I was thinking, it's funny how the same sensation, it's like a, um, what's the word? Um, it's like a hand-me-down sensation, you know? Like it's the same sensation of butterflies in the stomach and slight nausea. That's what we use when we are standing on heights looking down. It's what we use when we're about to get married. It's also what we use when we got food poisoning or when we're in love. It's like complete hand-me-down, same copy-paste thing that is happening every single time. It's just different labels we put on it, you know? So yeah, just a thought.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.